Hello, everyone, and welcome to our workshop. Today, we are going to speak up and listen. We're going to discuss building stronger teams through effective group communication. Our members are Iana, Caitlin, Ashton, and Jordan. We are LHRD 7110, and our professor is Dr. Karen Palmer. So, the timeline of this workshop, we're going to start with an overview. This is going to discuss communication in teams. Then we're going to go into an introduction. This is going to be how to build communication effectively in teams. Next is our sources, theories, and concepts. Here we're going to discuss the foundation of communication in teams. We're going to look at sources such as the Journal of Applied Research and Communication. We're going to look at the groupthink theory, and then we're going to discuss the concept of group feedback. Then we're going to go into proposed context. Here, we're going to discuss how we can use communication to better our teamwork. Then next, we are going to discuss workshop activities. This workshop is called Communication Style and Action, and this is where we will use real life scenarios and we will use real time activities to emphasize how important communication is in teams. Then we're going to discuss an evaluation plan. The evaluation plan is important because this is when these activities that we'll be using from the workshop will be useful in the real world and within team group communication. Next, we are going to conclude with the importance of effective communication in teams. This conclusion is going to really discuss how communication in teams is important to stay successful within your group. Then we are going to go over all the references, and then you will be able to use these references to use this applied research within your group.
So the audience for this training activity could include individuals who participate in teams in the workplace and their team managers or leaders. This activity is for any team that seeks to improve the quality of their communication, and it requires more than one participant but can be completed on any scale due to its use of pairs and/or small groups.
The purpose of this training is to promote open and respectful communication within teams. It will help to encourage individuals to confidently express ideas, concerns, and feedback. It will emphasize the importance of active listening for understanding and collaboration. It can foster inclusivity by validating diverse voices and perspectives. It reduces misunderstandings and conflict through improved communication strategies. It strengthens trust and psychological safety among team members. It equips participants with tools to navigate difficult conversations constructively. It enhances the overall team performance, engagement, and morale through better communication. And it develops communication habits that support long-term team success and cohesion. The importance of community in a group. It fosters trust and belonging. Members really need to feel valued, respected, and connected. It can encourage open communication. It creates a safe space for sharing ideas, concerns, and feedback. It boosts collaboration and teamwork. It builds stronger relationships that can lead to more effective partnerships. It supports emotional well-being and reduces feelings of isolation and stress. It strengthens identity and purpose. Shared goals and values create a unified vision. It increases engagement and motivation. People are more invested when they feel part of something bigger. It enhances problem solving and creativity. Diverse perspectives can really thrive in supportive environments. And it builds resilience during challenges. Teams with strong communication and strong communities tend to bounce back quicker from setbacks.
Let's discuss some key concepts for communication in a group. First, active listening. Active listening is essential for effective communication in group settings, work, or school. According to Wickman, 2019, it involves full concentration, understanding, and thoughtful responses. Key elements: be present in the moment, avoid interruptions, provide meaningful, respectful feedback, and it also builds trust, clarity, and mutual respect. It also promotes open dialogue and minimizes understandings, makes group members feel heard and valued, and also helps prevent conflict and reinforces everyone's contributions and strengthens trust and empathy within teams. Next, conflict resolution. Conflict is a natural part of teamwork due to differences in perspectives, experiences, and work styles. While conflict can be uncomfortable, it often leads to better communication and innovation when managed constructively. There are two main types of conflict: task conflict, which relates to the work itself, and relationship conflict, which stems from personal differences. Task conflict can be healthy and productive, while relationship conflict tends to be emotional and potentially damaging. According to Jordan and Troth, 2004, all conflict involves emotion because it reflects perceived threats to group goals. Effective conflict resolution requires strong communication and emotional intelligence, encouragement of openness and honesty, and clear team norms and expectations. Communication styles. Communication style plays a key role in how team members understand each other and complete tasks together. According to Offman et al. 2017, communication skills are essential for driving organizational change. Strong communication fosters alignment, quicker resolutions, and healthier workplace relationships. As noted by Norton, 1983, and Ibrahim et al. 2007, communication styles vary by setting and purpose, and adapting them is key to effective teamwork. These are the type of communication styles. Assertive communication involves expressing oneself honestly and respectfully while also listening to others. Passive communication occurs when someone avoids sharing their thoughts, which can lead to confusion or resentment. Aggressive communication is forceful and may get fast results, but often damages relationships and creates tension. Passive-aggressive communication includes indirect expressions like sarcasm or avoidance, which can harm team cohesion. Technology and communication. Technology is a significant tool for group communication, especially in global or remote teams. Cultural differences impact how individuals use and perceive technology. Earlier research, S. N. Sudweek's 2001, highlighted the dominance of Western values and English in online communication, limiting diverse input. Modern organizations must consider these cultural dynamics when designing team communication strategies. Recent studies, Sillard et al. 2023, show that emotional labor affects the quality of tech-mediated workplace relationships. High-quality connections in tech-based communication require attention to emotional expression and cultural sensitivity. Organizations should train teams to use technology mindfully, respecting emotional and cultural nuances for better collaboration. Lastly, constructive feedback is a supportive communication tool that promotes both individual and organizational growth. It aims to identify areas for improvement while encouraging professional development, stronger performance, and deeper engagement. Effective feedback also helps build trust and strengthen relationships within teams. A longitudinal study in Bangkok urban schools assessed the impact of external constructive feedback on the learning environment. The study found that external feedback can positively influence students' feelings and the overall learning climate. These insights suggest that thoughtful, well-delivered feedback can improve group dynamics in both educational and professional settings.
So in this slide, we are going to walk you through some key sources theories and concepts that are central to understanding communication in applied contexts. So first, we're going to start with the source. We're going to start with the Journal of Applied Communication Research, or known as JACR. This is a peer-reviewed publication from the National Communication Association. It plays a vital role in the communication field by providing original research that shows how people communicate in the real world and in diverse settings. This can be in a workplace dialogue, intercultural exchange, or online communication. The Journal of Applied Communication Research contributes to how we understand and improve these interactions. This source is important because it's hands-on, real-world, peer-reviewed scholarly articles that you can use to further communication and better communication within your team. Next, we are going to go to theories. We're going to start with the groupthink theory. This theory was developed by Irving Janis in 1972. Groupthink is a physiological phenomenon where the desire for harmony and conformity in a group results in irrational or dysfunctional decision making. So, in other words, when team members suppress dissenting opinions, or there's no trust within group members, um, to maintain the group unity, the group may end up making poor decisions. Janice introduced the groupthink theory as a warning theory. It helps us recognize the dangers of poor communication where questioning feedback and alternative views are discouraged. This theory is especially relevant in organizational or leadership contexts where unchecked conformity can lead to disastrous outcomes. So, this theory is important to recognize because it pinpoints how bad communication can affect a team and affect its group members. So next we're going to talk about concept, which is group feedback. Building on the idea of avoiding flawed decision making, we come to the concept of group feedback. This concept, empathizes the importance of constructive feedback within team groups or settings. Effective group feedback fosters a culture of continuous improvement. It builds trust among team members and encourages open communication within one another. When feedback is shared respectfully and thoughtfully, it helps each individual team member grow and allows the team as a whole to adapt and perform better collectively. Unlike the groupthink theory that warns us about the dangers of poor communication, group feedback shows us the benefits of healthy communication practices. So, in conclusion, this slide connects a reliable source of communication research, a classic theory, that warns us about the risk of poor communication, and the practical concept of construction feedback shows us how to improve team dynamics. Together, these three elements form a framework that help us think critically about how communication works in a real world setting, and more importantly, how communication and effective communication can be improved within your team.
So some of the SMART goals for this activity are to improve team members' perception of the efficiency of their group communication by 15% within 2 months of their completing the activity, as well as improving the team members' perception of support and encouragement when they are participating in group communication by 25% within 2 months of completing the activity. And finally, to improve team members' perception of group relationships into a positive perception within 2 months of completing the activity as well.
Activity, communication styles in action. The purpose of this activity is to help adult learners understand different communication styles and practice using assertive communication during group interactions. What is being done? Participants will work in pairs or small groups to act out or role play common workplace situations. Each group will receive a written scenario and instructions on which communication style to use during the role play. One person will act out a problem using passive-aggressive style, and the other will respond using assertive communication. Then they will switch roles if time allows. After the short role play, the group will talk briefly about what worked and what was hard. So let's get started. Step 1, group setup. The facilitator asks everyone to get into pairs or groups of 3. Each group receives a scenario card describing a group communication problem and a communication style cheat sheet that explains 4 types of communication. Step 2, assign roles. One person in the group reads the card aloud. One person acts as someone using a passive, an aggressive, or passive aggressive style. Another person will respond using an assertive style. If there is a third person, they observe and give feedback after the role play. Step 3, role play. The group acts out the scenario. The assertive communicator practices listening, responding clearly, and showing respect. If time allows, they switch roles and try again. Group debriefs. Each group reflects on the role play. They answer questions like what was easy or hard. How did the assertive response affect the conversation? What would you do differently next time? The materials needed for this activity consist of 1. Scenario cards, printed or shown on screen. An example of the scenario card is your teammate keeps talking over you in meetings. One person will play the teammate using an aggressive style, and the other will play the one that responds assertively. Next, communication style cheat sheet. This will explain passive aggressive, or assertive. Another thing you will need is a time clock to keep each part of the activity on time. Lastly, pens and paper for groups to take notes or write down what they have learned.
The examples of written materials. Number 1 is a workshop handout. We would be handing out workshops with key strategies for stronger communication, which would be to speak clearly, listen actively, respect different styles, and clarify and confirm. Our second example of written materials would be quick tip cards. It's where it would help ask open-ended questions, practice empathy, provide timely feedback, and acknowledge contributions with the use of digital tools wisely. And lastly, the third would be a mini guide or brochure. Speak up, listen, building trust through communication. The why communication breaks down, how active listening builds trust, tips for giving and receiving feedback, and building inclusive dialogue across teams.
To evaluate the workshop's effectiveness, an evaluation plan will be used to measure how well the training achieved its expressed goals. The plan begins with clearly identifying the training objectives, such as improving group communication and encouraging active listening. After the workshop, participants will complete a short survey with both rating scales and open-ended questions to measure what they learned and how confident they feel applying those skills. The survey will assess their understanding of key concepts, their comfort level with speaking in groups, and whether they feel better equipped to work in a team. In addition, the instructor will observe short role-play exercise or group discussions during the workshop to measure how well participants apply what they learned in real time. Follow-up feedback can also be collected a few weeks later to see if the skills are being used in the workplace or classroom. This combination of immediate feedback, observation, and delayed follow-up will help determine whether their training truly met its goals and what improvements can be made.